An assassination sends shockwaves through a turbulent democracy. And an event in Athens will once again draw crowds to Court Street. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening and welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. I'm Will Price. Nelsonville City Councilman Greg Smith filed a lawsuit today challenging the council's efforts to remove him from office. The Nelsonville City Charter requires members of City Council to reside in the city. After an investigation into Smith's residency status, council members determined that he mostly resided in Washington County. Council twice voted to remove Smith earlier this year, but took back those decisions because of procedural errors. Smith filed the lawsuit against all of his fellow council members, Nelsonville Police Chief Scott Fitch, and two police officers. Smith alleges the efforts to remove him violated his First Amendment right to free speech and his right to due process and equal protection under the 14th Amendment. He claims Section 402, which requires him to be a continuous resident of the city, to be on the council, is too vague and therefore unconstitutional. Newswatch reached out to Nelsonville City Council members who declined to comment about the lawsuit. Universities in Ohio are preparing to enact stronger anti-hazing measures after Senate Bill 126 was signed into law by Governor Mike DeWine yesterday. The bill, known as Collins Law, revises the state's hazing definition to include coercing another to consume alcohol or drugs as part of an initiation into a student organization. Offenders of this new law can now face up to a third-degree felony. The bill takes its name in honor of Ohio University student Colin Wyant, who died in 2018 after collapsing at an off-campus house.
For decades, the culture of hazing has been accepted as something that is tolerated. This bill says that going forward, hazing in the state of Ohio is simply not tolerated.
His family, as well as loved ones of Stone Foltz, who died after an alleged hazing incident at Bowling Green State University, joined Governor DeWine for the bill signing at the State House.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Taylor Burnett, and on your weather for this evening, it's a muggy day in Athens. However, it is supposed to get a little bit cooler as we go into the evening. We have a chance of thunderstorms throughout the week and a partly cloudy day coming up on Friday. However, those muggy temperatures will hopefully be offset a little bit by that light breeze going into the end of the week. Right now in Athens, we have a high of 82 degrees and a chance of thunderstorms going into the evening. It's 82, but it feels a little warmer, feeling more like 89 with the muggy extra humidity. Throughout the region, we have highs of 80, 89 up in Columbus, going down to 81 in Ironton. Athens is a moderate 82, however, may be good to bring that water bottle with you as you go out. Throughout the region, we see some of the storms that may be approaching our area soon. And as you look closer, you can see some of the storms over Zanesville right now, with scattered throughout the region.
And weather farther south is getting turbulent. Isabel Rosales reports on the tropical storm that made landfall earlier today across Florida's northern Gulf Coast.
Heavy rains already flooding island communities off Florida's west coast. And strong wind gusts, plus the threat of isolated tornadoes, as the Sunshine State feels the impacts of Elsa.
I don't know what it would be like to be worse. I don't know that I'd want that, but this is okay. I can handle this.
Governor Ron DeSantis expanding his state of emergency declaration to include a total of 33 counties.
Be prepared to be without power for a few days and having enough food and water for each person and their family, including for your pets.
Emergency officials warning people to take the storm seriously.
So I know it may seem, as Floridians, we've been here a long time, we've seen every type of storm, but you really never know. We've had other storms in the past that seem like nothing, but they end up with a lot of flood damage.
It's something business owners in Pinellas County know all too well. Some were caught off guard during Tropical Storm Eta last year.
We've never experienced that, being here 6 years. So that was surprising. We prepared and lifted stuff off the ground to some level, but we didn't think it would get all the way throughout the store. So we had some damage, a couple $1,000s worth of loss.
In St. Pete Beach, Florida, I'm Isabel Rosales.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said at a news conference this morning that no major structural damage or deaths from the storm have been reported. As funds for restarting America post-pandemic are flowing into states, a top priority for Southeast Ohio is addressing a long-standing infrastructure problem that became even more of an issue during the lockdown. Nick Veland reports on what is looking to be addressed.
Southeast Ohio lives in a digital divide due to the lack of widespread broadband access. The problem is well known, but little progress has been made to address it.
From 1990 to 2020, we've all been talking about the problems with the digital divide. There's been $100 billion spent to try to solve it, and here we are really with no improvement. And we've actually gone backwards in some ways. In a lot of areas, the copper is so decrepit that it won't even support reliable telephone services anymore.
Weak internet connections stem from companies not willing to invest, but the federal stimulus money changes the equation.
If we could have an influx of state money to cover part of the construction cost, would that change the accounting, change the balance sheet to now it looks like this actually could be, the return of investment is actually there.
Spectrum got in on the action with funding from the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund to serve Southeast Ohio, and will be the major player in the area.
It just gives us the opportunity to take our services that have been very well received in some other areas and get them out to people that traditionally have not had service.
Along with providing broadband access, there's more that needs to happen outside of having reliable speeds.
Build the best network in America in Athens County. And it could be the highest speeds available anywhere. But if we don't have a community who have the skill set and are positioned to take full advantage of that, it will have very little value.
Isherwood is currently searching for nonprofits to partner with to help with issues of computer literacy and bridging the digital divide. For Newswatch, I'm Nick Veland.
Roundtable conversations with the community about these issues are planned for the end of July. Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose reminds Ohioans about the importance of casting their ballot for the upcoming special election. The ballots cast on August 3rd will determine the new occupants of 2 congressional seats. They will serve out the unexpired terms of former 11th District Representative Marcia Fudge and former 15th District Representative Steve Stivers. LaRose recognizes that the upcoming election may not be at the top of people's minds, but encourages people to head to the polls next month.
Focused on their family time, and in a couple of weeks they're going to be starting to think about back to school. A lot of people aren't thinking about the fact that there's an important special election coming up.
Over 5 million Ohioans, which is nearly 74% of registered voters, cast ballots this past November. Trump is suing 3 major tech giants, and you may be spending even more at the gas pump this month. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
A dreaded diagnosis.
I have cancer.
Like getting hit by a truck.
But does a new hope lie in Cuba?
Wow, in Cuba. Jeez.
A journey in a battle for survival.
I'm not trying to break the law, but I'm also not going to die.
Can Cuba's ingenious cancer vaccine cross borders and save lives?
His cancer is smaller.
Cuba's Cancer Hope on Nova.
American Masters plays ball with Baseball Hall of Famer Ted Williams.
The kid.
The thumper.
The splendid splinter.
He was gifted, but his success came from hard work and determination.
He was obsessed with hitting. He is the greatest hitter that ever lived.
Meet a decorated war hero, an avid fly fisherman, and just maybe the greatest hitter who ever lived.
Everybody wanted to see Ted Williams swing the bat.
When the legendary Ted Williams swings on American Masters.
Puerto Rico's fractured history with the U.S. comes into focus in the wake of Hurricane Maria. As opportunists arrive to recolonize the devastated island, community leaders emerge to rebuild and resist.
My people died and my land was taken the last time that there was a we. So honestly, I don't trust any of you.
Landfall on PLV.
This is one of the most biodiverse places in the world, Florida. But powerful forces are threatening the state's wild creatures and iconic landscapes.
If Florida lost the reef tract completely, it's likely that we would see a place like Florida Keys completely washed away.
The war that we're fighting is bigger than the battle that we're winning.
Can Florida continue to weather the growing storm?
Former President Donald Trump announced a lawsuit today against 3 of the country's biggest tech companies: Facebook, Twitter, and Google. Trump was suspended from Facebook and Twitter after the January Capitol attack after concerns of his posts sparking further violence. He believes the social media platforms have abused their protection and should follow guidelines set by the government. Trump now serves as the lead plaintiff in this case, claiming wrongful censorship. He announced the suit at his New Jersey golf course this morning. Facebook declined comment on the suit to AP News. Gunmen assassinated Haitian President Jovenel Moïse and wounded his wife in their home earlier today. The Caribbean country was already enduring escalating gang violence, anti-government protests, and coronavirus infection surges. Interim Prime Minister Claude Joseph confirmed the killing. Authorities closed the international airport and declared a state of siege after people ransacked businesses in areas of the Haitian capital. The country planned a general election later this year, and Moïse had been ruling by decree for more than a year. Haiti failed to hold elections, and opposition demanded he leave the post. The country's ambassadors to the U.S. says the assassination creates a threat to democracy.
This is a threat. They killed the president of Haiti today, but it is a threat on the democracy of our region. So it's very important for all of us, to consider how we can work together and to make sure that those things do not repeat in our region, in our continent.
President Biden will be fully briefed on the assassination later today. 16 people died in traffic crashes over the July 4th weekend on Ohio's highways and state routes. The Ohio Highway Patrol reports there were 15 crashes between Friday, July 2nd, and Monday, July 5th. The patrol says alcohol and drugs was determined to be a factor in at least 5 of those crashes. 25 people died from crashes last year on Ohio's roadways. An impairment was a factor in nearly 3/4 of them. Troopers arrested 536 people for impaired driving and 368 for drug-related charges during that same period. Prices at the pump continue their steady climb as summer travel is in full swing. AAA reports crude oil prices will hit a 7-year high this week. The national gas price average is expected to increase to $3.25 this month. Unfortunately, it's not going to stop there. AAA expects gas prices to rise another 10 to 20 cents through the end of August. The last time the national average gas price was at $3.25 was November and October 2014, respectively. Local businesses are gearing up for one of Athens' biggest festivals. That story's still ahead.
Is it going to rain? Is it going to snow? Stay tuned for my segment later in the evening. However, for now, some stocks that matter to you.
A dreaded diagnosis.
I have cancer.
Like getting hit by a truck.
But does a new hope lie in Cuba?
Wow, in Cuba. Jeez.
A journey in a battle for survival.
I'm not trying to break the law, but I'm also not going to die.
Can Cuba's ingenious cancer vaccine cross borders and save lives?
His cancer is smaller.
Cuba's Cancer Hope on Nova.
That's beyond cool. That's epic.
On Finding Your Roots, filmmaker Alejandro G. Iñárritu.
I always has been curious what make me what I am.
Performance artist Marina Abramovich.
Okay, this made me very proud.
And painter Kehinde Wiley.
This is intense.
Warriors, soldiers.
So who's a fighter?
Powerful ancestors.
It's like being descended from royalty.
Wow.
Finding Your Roots.
American Masters plays ball with Baseball Hall of Famer Ted Williams.
The kid.
The thumper.
The splendid splinter.
He was gifted, but his success came from hard work and determination.
He was obsessed with hitting. He is the greatest hitter that ever lived.
Meet a decorated war hero, an avid fly fisherman, and just maybe the greatest hitter who ever lived.
Everybody wanted to see Ted Williams swing the bat.
When the legendary Ted Williams swings on American Masters.
On Wonders of Mexico, from ancient ranges in the north to tropical cloud forests in the south, mountains dominate the country's landscape, and they host an incredible diversity of life. Discover the unique people, creatures, and breathtaking panoramas of our neighbor to the south, Mountain Worlds, on Wonders of Mexico.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Taylor Burnett here with your weather right now. It is a high 82 in Athens. However, that temperature feels a little warmer, feeling more closer in the 89 range. That humidity is making it a little bit muggy, so it may be a good day to carry that water bottle on your evening walk. However, there is a chance of thunderstorms going into the evening, so I would also carry that umbrella with you. Throughout the region, we have highs up into the 80s with a warm 89 up towards Columbus, a more mild 82 towards Athens, but around the region, that same humidity is kind of making it a muggy, warm, kind of sweaty day outside. More towards Ironton and Gripply, just a little bit cooler, however, still worth carrying that water bottle with you. Into the evening tonight, we have a high of 68 with a cloudy and a chance of rain. It's going to be a wet one, not a good day for that picnic out for dinner. Throughout the region, we have similar temperatures going from highs of 69 in Newark down to 69 in Ironton. Throughout the region, you can see some of these storms coming up from the south and how that precipitation is going to impact us up here. In Zanesville, you can see the storms currently over the region, and there is a chance of scattered thunderstorms into tomorrow. With a high of 82 once more, however, it's going to feel warmer with the humidity. Scattered thunderstorms throughout the region, but hopefully that breeze cools things down a little bit. And into tomorrow, we have these same high temperatures with a slight chance of storms throughout the region. Little warm, however, it's probably going to be wet. And into tonight, we have a high of 80, 75, and then 72 as we get to 12 a.m. Partly cloudy, maybe a little bit of rain here and there. Tomorrow, for your morning commute, we have a pretty high chance of rain starting at 6 a.m., but especially as we get into 10 a.m., there will be thunderstorms. So carry that umbrella if you walk and make sure those windshield wipers are working if you are commuting. And into this week, we have highs into the 80s and 70s. However, that rain is going to offset them just a little bit. We have a lot of thunderstorms as we go into the weekend. However, Friday is supposed to be partially clear. Friday may be a good day to go out on the bicycle. However, Saturday and Sunday, you're definitely going to want to stay inside. We'll get a little bit of a relief from those storms heading into Wednesday. However, for now, I would keep that umbrella on you. And remember, as you go through the week, that there is a slight chance that these might clear up. So pay attention to the weather forecast as you make your plans for the week. Over to you, Will.
It's been quite some time since Britney Spears has performed, and some fans are concerned rumors of her retirement may turn out to be true. Christine Romans reports she is still on the fight to financial independence.
For 13 years, a court has deemed Britney Spears unable to take care of her own finances. During that time, she has recorded 4 studio albums, headlined the $131 million Global Circus Tour, and staged a 4-year residency in Las Vegas that Caesars Entertainment says grossed more than $137 million. At the age of 39, she's been working and making money more than 2/3 of her life. She told a judge last month, All I want is to own my money. That money feeds a small army of lawyers, managers, agents, publicists, to say nothing of dancers and backup singers, arrangers and producers. Journalist Ronan Farrow sets the scene in The New Yorker. Every Thursday at noon, about 10 people responsible for managing Spears' legal and business affairs, public relations, and social media met to discuss business deals, song license requests, and Spears' posts to Instagram and Twitter. The conservatorship began in 2008 after a series of personal issues that played out publicly for the singer. A third of her life now has been spent under this conservatorship, and she has continued to make money. She has complained that she needs permission to spend that money, even to change the color of her kitchen cabinets, according to court records obtained by the New York Times. Perhaps the most troubling of her claims, during the recent hearing, she told a judge of the IUD birth control she uses. This so-called team won't let me go to the doctor to take it out because they don't want me to have any more children. Spears' father has called for an investigation into the claims she made in court. Forbes estimates her net worth at $60 million, at the tail end of a powerful list of pop stars. Rihanna is worth $600 million, Beyoncé $420 million, Taylor Swift $365 million, Jennifer Lopez $150 million, and Jessica Simpson $110.
The court-ordered attorney who has represented Spears since 2008 submitted a petition to resign from her case yesterday. Another hearing in the case is scheduled for next Wednesday. Ohio Brew Week returns this week after a COVID hiatus last year. Taylor Burnett reports organizers put together a scaled back but eventful festival.
300 different types of craft beer from across the state, across 22 venues in Athens. The 16th Ohio Brew Week is scaled back, but still bringing strong flavors this year. Signature events like First Call, Last Call, and BrewBQ won't be happening because of COVID, but organizers say there's still plenty reason to celebrate.
But what a lot of people miss when they are participating in that is that all the bars are still open. People are still in those bars drinking all the different craft beers.
Venues around town will be stocked with a brew for every taste, including lagers, ales, and meads. And some Brew Week events will still take place, like the ceremonial keg tapping and the sold-out Top Deck dinner on the Athens parking garage. Venues also organize their own events, including beer infusion sessions with fruits and vegetables.
So that's what Brew Week is. Brew Week's not just one day. It's not just one event. It is a 9-day festival. Go through and find a new beer, new favorite beer or cider or mead.
For Newswatch, I'm Taylor Burnett in Athens.
A full schedule of events can be found on the Brew Week website.
Hi, I'm Curtis Fader, and a local NBA prospect makes his momentous career decision. Details on that and more when Newswatch returns. Now here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
This is one of the most biodiverse places in the world, Florida. But powerful forces are threatening the state's wild creatures and iconic landscapes.
If Florida lost the reef tract completely, it's likely that we would see a place like Florida Keys completely washed away.
The war that we're fighting is bigger than the battle that we're winning.
Can Florida continue to weather the growing storm?
American Masters plays ball with Baseball Hall of Famer Ted Williams.
The kid.
The thumper.
The splendid splinter.
He was gifted, but his success came from hard work and determination.
He was obsessed with hitting. He is the greatest hitter that ever lived.
Meet a decorated war hero, an avid fly fisherman, and just maybe the greatest hitter who ever lived.
Everybody wanted to see Ted Williams swing the bat.
When the legendary Ted Williams swings on American Masters.
A dreaded diagnosis.
I have cancer.
Like getting hit by a truck.
But does a new hope lie in Cuba?
Wow, in Cuba. Jeez.
A journey in a battle for survival.
I'm not trying to break the law, but I'm also not going to die.
Can Cuba's ingenious cancer vaccine cross borders and save lives?
His cancer gets smaller.
Cuba's Cancer Hope on Nova.
On wonders of Mexico, from ancient ranges in the north to tropical cloud forests in the south, Mountains dominate the country's landscape, and they host an incredible diversity of life. Discover the unique people, creatures, and breathtaking panoramas of our neighbor to the south, Mountain Worlds, on Wonders of Mexico.
Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm Curtis Fader. The 2021 NBA Draft is just over 3 weeks away, but for Jason Preston, a big decision looms large. Will he keep his name in the pool of prospects for draft day, or will he withdraw and return to Ohio University for another season? Preston was invited to attend the NBA Combine, where he had an impressive showing, leaving some analysts projecting him to go in the second round of this year's draft. After gaining national attention throughout this past season, leading to a remarkable run in the NCAA tournament, Preston has chosen to continue to pursue playing at the next level and will not return to OU. Preston signed with agent Drew Gross from Rock Nation Sports and will officially forego his senior season to enter this year's draft. There's some sad news to report for Columbus Blue Jackets fans, as goaltender Matisse Kivlenieks died Sunday after being struck by an errant firework blast. He played 8 games for the Blue Jackets since signing in 2017 and was due for more playing time this upcoming season. The Latvian goaltender was only 24. Heading over to the pitch, the defending MLS champ Columbus Crew will travel to face in-state rival FC Cincinnati Friday for another edition of the Hell is Real Derby. The rivalry got its famous name from a famous billboard between the two cities. Columbus is coming into the game 5 points ahead of Cincinnati in the league standings, having just opened its new stadium this past Saturday in a 2-2 draw against the New England Revolution. Meanwhile, Cincinnati is coming off a successful road trip, going unbeaten with 2 wins and a draw, and will return to their new stadium that debuted in May. This will be the second match at TQL Stadium that will be at full capacity, and the rivalry match is set to kick off Friday at 7:30. Heading over to the Diamond, the Cincinnati Reds were undefeated for the month of July with a 5-game winning streak, but that streak came to an end last night in heartbreaking fashion. After being up 6-1 in the 8th inning, the Royals came storming back, finishing them off with a walk-off single after scoring 4 straight runs in the bottom of the 9th. The Reds were looking to bounce back today, and while it was 3-2 after a 3-run explosion in the 7th inning, the game was delayed, but then it was eventually continued after the making of this broadcast, and the Reds came out victorious, 5-2. Meanwhile, having their game suspended due to Tropical Storm Elsa yesterday, Cleveland was in the midst of a doubleheader today against the Tampa Bay Rays. The Seas extended their losing streak to 8 games with a loss in Game 1 of the doubleheader. Cleveland was held to 1 run and 4 hits, while Kevin Kiermaier of Tampa Bay had himself a game, going 2 for 3 with 5 RBIs into a blowout victory for the Rays 8-1. Cleveland was at risk of falling to .500 if they lost Game 2. And in Game 2, that risk became reality as Cleveland lost Game 2 as well. Things went from bad to worse as they got no hit by a combo of 5 Rays pitchers in a humbling 4-0 defeat, dropping them to an even 42-42 record. That's all from me from sports. I'm Curtis Fader. Back over to you, Will.
Healthcare and essential workers received a well-deserved thank you today in New York City. The Big Apple played host to a parade honoring those on the front lines during the COVID-19 pandemic. Grand Marshal Sarah Lindsay led the parade as the first person in the country to receive a COVID vaccine after they were authorized for public use.
And tonight in Athens, we have a high of 68, cloudy with a 57% chance of rain with a light breeze as we go through. And into the evening, we have a high of 67, low of 69 in Ironton. It's going to be a pretty temperate evening. Just watch out for that chance of storms. And through the week as we go through, remember those thunderstorms coming up for the weekend. And that's over to you, Will.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour. Coming up next, and remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.
Support comes from Hocking Valley Bank, offering mortgage loans or refinancing on an existing home, making it easy for dreams to become a reality. Hocking Valley Bank, we know loans. Support comes from Snyder, Fuller, and Stroh in Athens, providing retirement plans